I think what we should do is go through the transfers and grade them to a level, almost like school grades, because there's so many and the fees are so big at this stage. Let's rattle off the ones we've just spoken about then. Dennis Zakaria, what would you give that?
Loan.
On loan.
B+.
I think that's kind.
Yeah.
I think that's kind. I think he's
What are you
low down
thinking?
your pecking order. When you was going for Frankie de Jong to then come out with
I mean, if
Dennis
you look at it
Zakaria,
like
I
that-
think you're talking C level transfer.
But I think the risk isn't that high. Because it's like, okay, he doesn't do well. He goes back to Juventus. It's like the Saul, and Saul was a D in the end, like if not worse. Like it was poor. D-, F, whatever it might be. Yeah.
I think if you're starting him at a B, then like
Okay,
some of your other
all right.
transfers-
I've been a bit too
I
kind.
think he's
All right,
in
C.
the C category.
It's absolutely fine.
I
Like,
think
he's
he's in the
average,
C
absolutely
category.
fine.
What we're giving Aubameyang, I think, would be a better. What would you give Aubameyang?
I'd give that one a B, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
A solid
Aubameyang.
B.
I think he's more solid. We've spoken about those two at length. Let's go to the next player that's very, very expensive. Wes Fofana, £75 million. What's your thoughts on this one first before you do
So
your grades?
it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. It's 60 something, which is cheaper before add-ons. 60 something.
Count the pennies here,
Weird.
Chelsea.
Yeah, 100%. 5 million
Count the pennies.
5 million of easy add-ons, and then 5 million of tougher add-ons. And I think it's a 7-year contract. He has the potential.
Is it?
Yeah,
7
years.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
Yeah,
7
7
years.
Did you learn nothing from Kepa?
This can't. I'm not jinxing it, but like
was gonna say,
it's
this
gonna.
can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
it can't be as bad as that. He's a guy that before his injury when he was 19, he looked like one of the best young up and coming centre backs
Agree.
in the world, and that supposedly the Chelsea scouting staff have been looking at him since he was at Saint Etienne and have always kind of kept an eye on him and always been really impressed by him. Huge money, huge money. I guess Leicester will report it as eventually being close to one of the world record fees, and Chelsea will say, well, it's 60, possibly eventually reaching 70. The way I look at a 7-year contract, I know I can understand it's a long time to commit to a player, but also it's
It's a new American model. I've seen Todd Boehly mentioning this, thinking about doing it with Reece James and Mason Mount, committing players to NFL
yeah.
start contracts.
I mean, the issue there is if he gets an injury again, then you're stuck with him. Or if he plays poorly and you can't offload him, you're stuck with him. Basically, what happened with Kepa Arrizabalaga. But he is a good player, and if he stays fit and he keeps developing at the rate he does, Chelsea could have one of the best centre backs in the world in their hands here. And so I like the deal. It is a lot of money, and I'm happy. I'll go B. Like
B.
I'm not going to go A because
Well, what do you think? Where's Fofana? Because that is a big old chunk.
It is a big fee.
Nearly Maguire money.
I mean,
Not quite.
It is
60
it's
60
nearly
odd.
Maguire money, and I would have chosen Fofana given the option to be honest. But no, I think for what the player he is, I think he's worth being someone that is worth that kind of money.
Has the potential.
Yeah, he definitely does. And I think when you consider stuff like how long he had in his contract at Leicester, like he only just signed a 5-year deal at Leicester. I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was.
So I think when you consider that, I think it's a great transfer to because you guys are looking for him to be there for forever, basically. Like 7 years down the line, and let's say he signs a new contract halfway through that. That's if all things go well, obviously. But like, I think it's a great signing.
Yeah, I think he's got people to learn off there as well. Like Thiago Silva is not a better person to learn off playing alongside, is there? Koulibaly is also going to be aging out as he starts to get into his sort of prime levels. So if he goes to a back four, he's potentially going to be playing alongside a Koulibaly or a Thiago Silva. Or if he's in a back five, more protected, he's sandwiched between maybe the best right wing back in the league in Reece James and one of the best centre backs in the league in Thiago Silva. I think this is, despite the money, closing in on an A transfer.
Closing on A. I said B. I'm more than happy to take an A.
Yeah, let's go to the next one then. Very, very expensive as well. Mark Cucurella.
Yeah. Again, we've spoken a bit at length on this channel about Cucurella. I was more positive than
You're
you
hotter than
guys.
me, yeah.
People said in the comments it's because he's employed by the club, which is fair enough. I'm more than happy to go. I'm more than happy to go that it's a C. Because it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money on a guy who probably was where City. Look, Man City were after him, and if Man City were after one of the players, like it normally is a good
player,
sign.
isn't it? Yeah.
But they stepped out at 40 million, which I think is probably the valuation at which he was at. He was a key player to Brighton. Brighton didn't want to lose him. The extra 20 million comes at a premium because Brighton have him on a new contract. Didn't need to sell him. Like you have to pay a premium to get him. There is also the confusing factor that Chelsea have Ben Chilwell, who Hopefully
This
he was
is a
coming back
bizarre one
through-
for me, I have to say.
Yeah, he was coming back through injury, but then also you look at Chelsea and they've just got rid of Marcos Alonso. That was always the plan. Emerson's now moved on permanent to West Ham, and one of the things that they've done, I think personally, is improve their depth and cover there. So if say Chilwell does get injured again, if Cucurella got injured again, or got
Big old
injured-
feat to be bringing in depth, though. And
do
think
agree.
it's harsh on Ben Chilwell, who I think is a really top-level left-back. And I know he had an injury, but I'm convinced his attacking output is better than Marco Correa's. And in the wing-back position, when they're so high, like Reece James is, it was at the start of the season when he was getting into the box, back post and
Yeah, he
stuff,
was, yeah,
Ben
last
Chilwell looked
season.
so dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's Cucurella's game. What do you think, Moyo?
I think Cucurella is better in like the middle phase of the game than Ben Chilwell. I think Ben Chilwell's great in the final third, to be honest, but Cucurella in the middle looks really good, to be honest. He looks to be the person that's better out of the two in bringing the ball up from the back as well. I think it's a good transfer, to be honest.
Even
like,
at 30, even at like close to 60.
even to be honest, I can't speak. United are prepared for everything. At this point, yeah,
Truth.
I do think 60 on a Cucurella makes sense. Like when you buy it internally from the Premier League, you already know you're paying a premium.
Very
for it.
true.
Yeah, that is
Very
true.
true.
I mean, the next man, though, maybe not as
What
well. We
grade
didn't
did we
grade
give
him.
him?
We didn't
What
grade him.
grades?
Cucurella, I think C minus.
I'm happy to
The
go
fee.
with that. I'm happy to
player,
go with
but
that.
I think the fee is just
just-
so large.
Yeah,
It's got to be a
I'll
contender
go
for
with-
world record fee for a left back.
Yeah, it must be. It
Must be up
yeah.
there, like-
Yeah, I'm more. Yeah, I agree. C minus, I think, because the fee is so.
Moyo's giving it.
I think a B minus. You know, I think it's a really good transfer to me. He's not even old. Like
Yeah,
he's,
true.
Yeah,
He's-
it's good age.
Not even,
Yeah.
very very young.
Let's see what the
developed.
comments think as well. Let us know what you think in the YouTube comments right
Yeah,
now.
good to
What
know.
grade you would give him. Raheem Sterling. It's got to be up there as an A.
A,
A.
100% man.
Proven Premier League goal
A+
scorer.
even,
Such
yeah.
a good forward.
You could argue A plus. Like he's a guy who is so experienced in the Premier League, a goal scorer or became a goal scorer at Man City, learning under Pep Guardiola. And he's 27. 27 is the age supposedly where attackers hit their peak. I know obviously Raheem Sterling had been playing since he was like 16, 17. So people can argue it was a little bit less, and maybe when he does hit 30, it might hit him a bit more. But so far, so good. Chelsea needed, like the way I can explain this, right, is Chelsea needed someone to just be kind of like a poacher in that box, especially on that left wing. So much of the creativity comes from that right. And
Reece James digging balls
and whoever
for
it might
Mount,
be,
digging balls
yeah,
for
even Ziyech when he's there, right? And we saw that when someone was at that back post, Ben Chilwell, there are goals to be had.
Yeah.
And that wasn't happening when, say, Christian Pulisic was playing out there, because he's also thinking about being creative and trying to set up opportunities. And then if you look at the goal against Leicester, the second one, I've seen that ball played so many times where it goes past the defender, through the front post. It's in that kind of position where it's tough for the keeper to come out and collect it, and it always just go off. And finally, you've got someone like Raheem
pinching in
Sterling,
at that post.
who's a poacher. I think it's a fantastic transfer to get it for under 50. Yes, the add-ons are over 50, but to get those add-ons, like Chelsea need to win the Premier League. So
Yeah,
it'll be
I
worth
agree.
it.
Yeah.
A star?
A star
Yeah. How many goals do you think he gets this season?
in the league or in general.
In the league? Do you think he gets double? I think he can.
He's got
He's
good
He's
fitness
definitely
as well,
gonna
isn't
get
he?
double figures. I think he's gonna get.
He's already on 3.
I'm not joking. I think he gets between 15 and 20.
That's
I
such
would
good
take
research.
that
Because
so
their top
back.
goal scorer consistently has been Jorginho on about 6 on pens.
Yeah, look, I still think the way Chelsea are going to be this season as well is it's going to be a number of players contributing. Like, if he hits 20, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah.
But I think the ideal world is we might see a few players here hit double figures. Aubameyang, Sterling, Mason Mount. Like, if another one can if Kai Havertz can also do it, like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be between 4 players all hitting 40 goals combined. I think that would be an unreal transfer. And so far has been working.
Let's also just rattle off the last couple
Yeah.
of arrivals then. We'll just do these as quick fire ones.
Sure.
Carney Chukwuemeka, quite an expensive fee, but looks hugely talented. Barcelona are extremely interested in signing him.
Yeah, he was meant to be going to them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a C at the moment. I don't want to go too low because
Yeah.
I don't feel like it all depends on how much game time he gets.
It's hard to do that. Should we
Interesting.
just do an overall then? Chelsea's window. They've spent an awful
Okay.
lot of money. If you were to grade Chelsea's window overall in terms of the
I've got to have a
Premier
think.
League,
I've got to have a think.
would you say has it been the best window in the league? Has it been?
No,
It's got to be close though,
it has,
surely.
it's definitely close. It's definitely up there. Probably top 3 windows.
Paid for it to be up
They've
there,
paid
for
for it,
sure.
but the
paid for
player
it.
they've got in,
Yeah.
players they've got in are quality.
And I feel like they've covered most of the positions that they needed
Yeah.
to, and for now and for the future.
Yeah,
that's
that's
one
a
of the
good
best
shout.
things.
It's
As well.
true.
I think
Really good
with the
shout.
signings they've brought in, it's not just it's players that who are going to be there in the future, like your Wesley Fofanas, like Cucurella, but also can do it now.
Yeah.
Which was a big thing. Losing Christensen and losing Rudiger, he's so important.
Yeah, you forget.
They needed to spend to replace them. I will go with a B plus.
Yeah, I think it's close. I think
I'd be more than happy to rate Chelsea. I think for me the number one is Arsenal. But for
Man
for
City
Chelsea,
pretty close, I'd say. Man City,
actually,
not
yeah,
north.
City are very close.